What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Beyond Crazy video. So recently, Tristan and I did a lunch challenge where we were said, we get 20 bucks, we gotta buy everything and make a single serving for lunch. And some of you commented, I think it was Obile, said you would challenge us to $20 to feed a bunch of people, and we're taking that challenge. So Tristan and I just got back from Walmart. He has an idea. He spent $19.91. So just under the $20 mark. And he's planning to make 20 portions of something so he can feed 20 people for under $20. Let's get this started.
All right, so like Kraz said, we're feeding 20 people for $20. Total came out to $19.91. Meal of choice tonight was actually going to be, originally it was going to be a pasta penne. I took that idea, kind of shifted it a little bit just because of the price of everything, into a Cajun pasta with penne. So, should be good. It's really a super basic meal here. I just grabbed 2 large yellow onions. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean these right now, do a small dice. They're gonna get sweated down with the tomatoes. So I got those onions cut. Oh, sorry, emotionally attached to those ones. Cleaned the grape tomatoes here. We're gonna go ahead and cut these in half, same way we always do, cutting against the seam here so that they look pretty. Ta-da! So we're gonna make sure that we cut all these in half. These are gonna end up getting roasted, so it's not the biggest deal ever, but yeah, we're gonna break all these down, break that down, and then I'm gonna show you guys a little bit about the chicken.
Let's establish the rules for this challenge. So, Tristan is able to use spices that we already had at home. Salt, pepper, different things like that. He is also able to use some herbs that we already had in the fridge. That's the rules. Maybe next time, if you want to push it, then we can try cutting those out. But we do have stuff in our fridge already that we have paid for. We gotta use it, you know?
The rotisserie chicken took up a little more than a quarter of my budget. It was like 30% of the budget. It was like $6, but I'm fairly confident this is gonna be more than enough protein for this meal. I'm going to now just break it down, de-skin it, break it down, and then just rough chop everything and then put that aside to be added in after the pasta's done. So this is it, literally just as you see it. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the strings off the bottom side, make sure that gets put aside. I'm just gonna separate this with my hands. I know what you guys are thinking, yes, my hands are clean. I'm just gonna separate these out. And then I'm gonna take all the skin off of it, makes it easier to work with right now, and I'm not gonna be using the skin in the recipe, so I'm just gonna peel that all the way to the top.
Aaron gets to eat that.
So I'm gonna put that to the side. The way I like to do it is I like to put my thumb right here in the bottom, and then I put my finger up here. You're gonna feel this little bone right there. That's gonna tell you where this starts. You're gonna push down, and it'll release the breast from the... Little messier than I would have liked it to be, but this is how you're doing it. And so this is where a lot of people would be done with this. Ordinarily speaking, we'd make a stock or a broth out of it, and this would get thrown into a big pot of water, throw a lot of herbs in there, throw a couple bay leaves in there, and then you'd cook that off until you get something really nice and aromatic. This unfortunately is not going to be done with that. I will say, this right here is called a chicken oyster. It is the most delicate part of the entire chicken. It's super, super lean. It's like a mix between the dark and the light meat, and it's like right underneath, it would be like underneath your arm there. It'd be like a lat muscle type deal. But yeah, this is the best part of the chicken in my mind. So do this guy.
Let's give it a try. Oh yeah, it's moist, but has like the fulfillment of, I think saying it's a mixture between white and dark meat is like the perfect explanation for it. It's more moist than say the breast is, but it has more of a breast texture.
Like I said before, I am gonna be breaking this down with a knife. I'm just running my hands through it to make sure, just because we're working with an entire chicken and you're always wanting to make sure that you're putting your hands through the meat, you know, feel around, make sure there's no bones, make sure there's no any like cartilage that shouldn't be there. And it takes an extra 2 seconds to make sure everyone can actually enjoy the meal. So I'm just working with my thumbs, just really just pulling it away, just like opening it like a book type deal versus like actually ripping at it. It's gonna help keep everything from just getting turned to mush. So Kraz went ahead and salted this water for us. We're just gonna come in here with 2 pounds of fish into our rolling boil. We're gonna give that a little mixy mix, make sure nothing's sticking together.
We do have a second pot of boiling water, and that is for the gluten-free noodles.
Awesome. Just gonna come through here. A real rough chop. It's gonna be thrown into a pasta, so it's not. I'm not really too overly concerned with it, but it's gonna maximize our yield.
Yield is good. Yield is very good.
Oh, I agree. Looks like more than one chicken to me.
Now you said this is a Cajun recipe?
Cayenne.
Cayenne. Okay. I think you might have said Cajun earlier.
I think I definitely did. All right, so we're gonna start busting this out. I'm gonna go ahead and prep out 3 tablespoons of thyme, 3 tablespoons of oregano, mince that up, and then put that aside. It's gonna get mixed in with our cream cheese here. Oregano, it's not so good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hit this with, this is 8 ounces, which is just, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's just 1 box of the cream cheese. I've got about a tablespoon of each, the fresh thyme and fresh oregano. I'm gonna be adding in, I'll leave the exact, like always guys, I'll leave the exact measurements in the description. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's about a little less than a tablespoon. I'm gonna come in with half a tablespoon of pepper, half a tablespoon of salt. I'm gonna go with 3/4 tablespoon of garlic. Let's go paprika. This is gonna be about 1.5 tablespoons. That's where it's getting a lot of its flavor, guys. Cayenne pepper, it's gonna be about the same amount. I know it wasn't on my list, but I'm gonna use it anyway. I didn't use $1 worth of the pasta, so I'm using some of this minced garlic. I will say that per serving, this is nowhere near $1, so I should still be fine, but you can hate me in the comments if you want. I'm gonna go with 1 tablespoon of that as well. We're gonna go ahead and give this a nice mix.
There's something just so satisfying about you stirring.
Cool, so Kraz just took off the pasta that's sitting aside now, out of drained the water out of that. So we're gonna take this, put some olive oil. I'm just gonna just blare the heat on this right now. I'm gonna throw in and start sweating down some of these vegetables so we can start putting everything together. So I'm gonna come in with these 2 onions. I'll let that run for a while. Pick out any inconsistencies I left in there. Sorry, boys. So these have been on here high heat for a couple minutes now. I'm just gonna throw these tomatoes in as well, just start sweating them down. We're not cooking these down to the point where they lose their shape. We're literally just putting some heat on them. We're gonna sweat a little bit of that liquid out of them, and then we're gonna separate those into the 2 different pastas, and then put our everything together. I will say one thing, we didn't do be better than us. Save some of your pasta water, you're gonna need it. Because we didn't, we're gonna use a little bit of broth and a little bit of hot water, but save some of your pasta water, guys. Don't be like us.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it is just about that time. These have been running for about 5 minutes. If you look right here, these are now blistering over. Still got all their shape to them, just losing some of that. You can see the color of the onions changed up a bit too. I'm gonna separate this into thirds, not perfectly obviously. I'm just gonna eyeball thirds and put these into here. That's probably exactly 2/3 right there.
And then 1/3 for mine.
Bring them over medium heat with 1/3 of this chicken, just so we can start bringing this up. Okay, so this is the way we're gonna do it. We're gonna add half a quart, let's say half a quart for each serving of actual broth, and then it's gonna be hot water to mash. But if you had your pasta water, just keep it the same, except for just use the pasta water rather than hot water. We're gonna come in with this sauce now. I know it's not looking much like a sauce yet, but I promise it will. Green onions. And no, I'm not doing it just so I can free with the bowl. Just a nice mixing up.
And make sure you're not stabbing through it, guys. Just try to mix it up. You don't want to mess the consistency up of it.
I'm really only stirring it up to mix up the cheese so that it can start melting evenly. And then it's just gonna reduce down all the liquid that I'm putting in it and make it more even. You guys tell me in the comments, is this saucing or is this souping? Because this looks like soup.
He thinks it's too soft. That's good. It's good, huh? Okay, this one looks perfect.
No, look at this one though. This is getting turned. Look at this. It's so much more sauce than it was earlier, and that's just a minute. Okay. Imagine in another minute.
and $20. Just like that. Feeds a family of 20.
All right, Savannah, you've given it a try. What is your thoughts?
Very good. Like a 8.5 because it's a little soupy.
Don't say that. It's saucing. It's saucing.
All right, give it a try.
I'll give this an 8. It's really good.
Evie, what's your thoughts?
10 out of 10. I would recommend it as a dinner or school lunch. It's really good.
Or school lunch.
Look at Joy. All right, it is my turn to give it a try.
How do you like it? Give it 10 out of 10?
I'm gonna give it an 8.7 out of 10. The sauce could have been reduced down a little bit more, but that's actually my fault. So I made the mistake of, I cooked the noodles too long. So you wanna cook the noodles almost to the point, because when you add everything in and you bring heat to it, you're gonna cook the noodles a little bit more. So the noodles are a little overcooked, but yeah, it's a great meal. Very tasty. Love the spices, the spice selection, quantities. It's all delicious.